So, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I messed up big time. I messed up really bad and let something leak a few days earlier than it should have been, and as a result of that, it just absolutely fucked me, really hard. I woke up this morning and there was huge thread on Reddit, fuck Seatin, and on the forums and on Facebook and on Twitter and on YouTube as well. Everywhere I went there was so much hate. So I wanted to give a full perspective on the story and tell you guys, what happened, what's happening, kind of what decisions I'm making, why. But yeah, anyway, let's start with it, guys. So at the end of last week, Kabam reached out to a few YouTubers to trial out a new champion preview program. So they said we were going to be awarded the champion for our account, gave us a lot of restrictions with it, basically, a lot of the restrictions where you can't rank up the champion, you can't play it anywhere outside of single-player quests, so it wouldn't be kind of in any competitive elements of the game. So they gave us this big list of guidelines, and we were expecting that it was going to be a 3-star version of the champion, right? Because 4-star versions of the champion are still very desired in the game. They're very lucrative. People grind day and night over 3 days to get 18 million to 20 million points at the moment for these champions, and to just be handed a 4-star dupe one was very surprising. We did not expect that. Nobody expected that. So that was very jarring at first when we got it. Now one of the things when kind of it landed in my account was I was thinking, because this is essentially, this program was created just to kind of preview, do a couple of videos on. We had no sort of guidelines saying that they had to be relentlessly positive. We could give my overall opinion on Howard the Duck, guys, is he is not a very great champion, and we covered that in a video 4 days ago. But this is quite an exciting program because it allows potentially YouTubers to get better understanding of Howard the Duck. However, again, guys, I think a 3-star version of the champion is completely sufficient, and I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. So, very surprised to see a 4-star version in the inventory. Now, one of the things that, I thought about, when I was looking at my roster and I saw that champion, was I just haven't earned this champion. I don't deserve to have this champion in comparison to some people that are going to give up 6 days and maybe spend several £100 grinding the Howard the Duck arena over the weekend. So kind of my initial plan was to make some fun videos showcasing Howard the Duck and then just straight up sell the champion, because I haven't earned the champion. And a huge part of this game, guys, a huge part of Marvel Contest of Champions for me and a lot of players is collecting new characters. That is essentially what the game is. It's collecting new characters, ranking them up. You go on quests, pretty much everything you do in the game is to collect new champions. That is a huge part of the game. And if a new champion comes out every 2 weeks and we just get given a 4-star duplicated version of that, that takes out a huge part of enjoyment for the game. So that would just completely kill the game for me. I'd have no reason to open crystal. Well, I would still open crystals, but I'd be well, I've already got all the champions in the game, I guess I'm pretty good, and that would just kind of take out a lot of the sense of achievement and accomplishment for actually playing the game. So that was kind of one of the immediate things that came to mind when I looked at the 4-star Howard the Duck, and I'd only had it in my inventory for a couple of days and hadn't thought about exactly how I was going to play the scenario out. But my initial plan was to sell the champion at the end of it and then try and get lucky and maybe do a Howard the Duck crystal opening. But again, this wasn't scheduled to be talked about or actually come out until next Wednesday, so a couple of days from now. However, yesterday in a video, guys, on my How to Get Tier 4 Class Catalyst guide, you'll be able to see, I'm talking about, the final way to get Tier 4 Class Catalyst, if you're really good at the game, is to do the Labyrinth of Legends for the first time. Again, just wanted to cover that off to make sure I'd covered all of the ways to get Tier 4 Class Catalyst. But as you can see in the background is Howard the Duck, yeah, it's a little hard to make out. Maybe if we go to a few frames earlier, he's a little bit more visible there, just in the top left hand corner and just hiding behind the Colossus. But because I was so entranced in the video and talking about that, I didn't notice it. I didn't notice that I let it slip. So it was a very honest mistake on my part. I certainly did not intend that at all. default, and let me just close down Facebook because somebody's sliding into my DMs right now. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, let's return to this. And so yeah, I had actually scheduled this video for 5:30 UK time, and I was actually out to dinner with my family. And I look at that, I'm like, you know, I love checking my YouTube comments and replying to a lot of the early stuff. And I just open up the comments for this video, which by this time, like, guys, 20 minutes, it has 1,000 views. And I'm like, fuck. Because all the comments are like, Howard the Duck, how did you get Howard the Duck? Seatin works for Kabam, confirmed. And I turned, like, absolutely pale. Like, my mum and dad were just, like, looking at me, like, because I was freaking the fuck out. I was like, no, I've totally ruined this for absolutely everyone. I've no idea how to handle this scenario. So I had to rush home. I had to literally, like, leave the dinner table, rush home and private the video immediately. And then I contacted Kabam and I was like, guys, I fucked up. I fucked up big time. Like, what do I do? Like, please help me. And, you know, I was checking the forums, Reddit and stuff, and nothing emerged for quite a while. And then one post on the forums just sparked everything out of control. And one of the things that I like to thank, guys, and I really appreciate, is that a lot of the kind of OG subscribers knew that, because I'd set this video to private immediately, that this wasn't something that, you know, I wanted to be released or wanted to, like, talk about yet, because it was an early slip up. Again, none of this stuff was meant to come out till Wednesday. It was an early slip up, and yeah, they private messaged me and said, hey, Seatin, you know, we saw this video, and I was like, okay, trust me, guys, like, next week, next Wednesday, like, I'm going to explain absolutely everything. And I really appreciate the people who had the kind of respect for me to just come to me directly and, you know, ask me about this issue, because, like, I did reply to everybody that personally inboxed me about this. I spent, like, all night freaking out about it, but then some people went to the forums, which, you know, as you imagine, word of mouth travels quite quickly. So then that kind of blew up, and then kind of Kabam Mike initially talked, you know, revealed a little bit of information about that they're working with YouTubers, and YouTubers have been granted like some of the YouTubers have been granted a 4-star version of this champion to, you know, make videos from. And obviously that sparked a lot of controversy and discussion in the community about, you know, is this fair? And I've kind of, you know, come to the conclusion, there was a lot of hate. There was a lot of hate, like people like, fuck you, Seatin, how come you get 4-star featured champions? You don't deserve it, bro. You don't deserve it. I hate your videos. They suck. Just had so much of that, which I get, guys. Not everybody likes my videos, but, like, you gotta tone down the salt a little bit. But I wanted to really appreciate the subscribers out there who kind of came to me and said, look, you know, Seatin, this is a little bit too much. You know, it's really upsetting the balance of the game. A lot of people like myself work really, really hard to grind these champions in arena, like over 6 days. We give up a lot of time. We give up a lot of our units. So you can see, you know, why we're pissed off and why this is a little bit unfair. And I totally took that to heart. Like, I could really, really relate to that, you know? I was thinking back to kind of the days when I was playing like World of Warcraft and Rift and was trying to get all this awesome gear and stuff. And in a way, champions in Marvel Contest of Champions are like gear in MMOs. They're equipment you need and stuff that like upgrade your gameplay. And I totally understood that. I got that, and that's kind of the main reason why I am choosing to actively return my 4-star Howard the Duck. You know, I sent an email across this morning. I was like, you know, look, this is my perspective. Like, I really, really appreciate that you're trying to help YouTubers, but if anything, this is just, at the moment, going to cause like a huge amount of trouble. And I don't think, to be honest, even I said at the moment, but I don't think it's ever the right move. But I think a 3-star version, just for review purposes, would probably be a bit more of a sufficient solution. But I do agree that a 4-star version is a bit over the top for a freebie. And kind of just, you know, even if I know a few of you kind of messaged me, like, because I made this post on Reddit this morning about returning 4-star Howard the Duck. A few of you messaged me saying, you know, Seatin, like, don't let the haters get to you. But it's not really the haters that have got to me in this scenario. It's really the people that I respect as my subscribers and as my audience and in the community that have come to me constructively and said, look, Seatin, like, it's really cool that you got this, but I think it's a little bit unfair because I have to spend all this time and all this units to get something that you're just given for free. And I totally got that, and I do respect that as a community player, and that's why, you know, I'm not only going to be returning my 4-star Howard the Duck, but I'm also going to be rejecting any future 4-star champions that are given to me as a freebie. In terms of my roster and growing in Marvel Contest of Champions, I want to make that progression myself. And just also to confirm 4 things, which I confirmed on the Reddit thread, guys. If you want to have a look at the Reddit thread, I answer like a ton of questions. So if you do have any questions about any of this this fiasco that's gone down in the last 24 hours, feel free to check out that thread, because I've been replying to a lot of stuff. A lot of people been giving me shit on that thread as well, but you know, I've been trying to be as factual and constructive as possible in terms of my replies. But yeah, finally to confirm, just again 4 things. I don't work for Kabam, guys. Like, believe it or not, you know. This is the second time they've asked me to be involved in anything, so this is the second time they've reached out to me, and the first time was actually the video that was posted on the Facebook and YouTube channel yesterday evening, which is actually a really nice, heartwarming video with myself, Brian Grant, Dorky Diggity Dave, and also Resident, where we're talking about some of the like main stuff that makes us love the game Marvel Contest of Champions. Because above all, I'm very passionate about Marvel Contest of Champions. I really like the game. I think it's a really good game, and the community, for most part, especially around my channel, is really, really awesome, guys. But like the final thing that I guess I want to say is, like, some people came at me, like, who've been really long time viewers, just with shit immediately, and were writing stuff like unsubscribe, Seatin, you fucking sell out, just stuff like that, without, you know, kind of waiting to hear any sort of perspective from me on this whole scenario. So, you know, if you did unsubscribe, if you're one of those people I'm talking to at the moment, I heavily encourage you to stay unsubscribed and also permanently block my channel so you never see me on my content again, because I don't really value you as a viewer if you are immediately going to jump to conclusions and shit on me when the you know, stuff gets a little bit out of hand and a little bit controversial. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for watching the video. Take care. Have an absolutely fantastic day.